Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We are in a very fancy jet today, the Cessna Citation Longitude. This is one of the planes that you will get if you get the Premium Deluxe package. It is a beast. We'll try to tame it this video, but no promises, okay? In any case, our flight for today, can I show you maybe through here? Okay, there it is. So we are flying from Tagbilaran, Romeo Papa Victor Tango, to Legazpi, Romeo Papa Lima Papa, and we'll be flying over Mactan, as in the airport in Cebu, and we'll try and make our way through, but no promises that we can do much sightseeing, because in this video I want to focus more on the flight sim elements per se. We already know that the sim has some beautiful capabilities for sightseeing, but in terms of actual flight simulation, the systems, I think that's what we want to also have a look at, because that is, one could say, the most important part in flight simming, the actual flight. In any case, let's go ahead and turn on the batteries here. Now, if you're not familiar with this plane, you should have a bit of a guide here. There is a checklist. Although it is quite still basic, the checklist is only there until starting engines. So once you start your engines, you're on your own. But we'll see what we can do. I had to do a trial and error here. Start the APU. So, and I am still doing trial and error, so you guys will be guinea pigs together with me. APU is starting. So for those who are not familiar with the aviation terms and everything, don't worry. We'll try to take it slow so that everyone can be on the same page as much as we can. The APU is just an auxiliary power unit. It's a small engine, you could say. It's an engine so that you could start your main engines, if you get what I mean. So you cannot start your engines from the beginning, the main ones, because it requires a lot of power. But in this way, it's like a stepping stone. So once the APU is ready, we can go ahead and turn on the APU generator. What that does is it charges our batteries, and so from there we can now start the engine itself, which is something we can do right here. Sorry for the shakiness, that's my head just moving about. We should see N2 rising pretty soon. Oil pressure should rise. ITT should rise, that's the temperature inside the engine, more like. And then the N1 should rise. So these N1 and N2, these are like the fans inside the actual plane, this one. Yeah, so there are like multiple fans inside. N2 is the inner one, N1 is the outer one. Things like that. So you can see this and is starting to spin already. And that is looking pretty good. So we'll just keep on monitoring that. In this flight, I also want to interact with air traffic control as much as possible and test the built-in capabilities of this sim. So we'll see how capable it is and how we can actually leverage it to get a proper full flight. Or try our best at the very least. Alright, that looks good. We can disengage the starter. That means we can go ahead and start engine 1. And from there we can go ahead. And there we go. That's also building up. Alright, so while that's cooking, maybe, hopefully not, we can go and contact Tagbilaran radio, I think, is where we can request our IFR clearance.
Tagbilaran radio says Tagbilaran,
I love it.
One Charlie
love the
Lima
slang.
IFR to Legazpi, ready to copy. Cessna Romeo Papa.
All right.
One Charlie Lima is cleared to Legazpi Airport as filed. Climb and maintain 7,000 feet.
7,000 feet. That's this one. So let's do a bit of a basic stuff here. So they're asking us to climb up to 7,000 feet. That means we've been cleared up to 7,000. So I'm turning this knob to 7,000 there, and then say departure frequency. We're going to tune to that frequency later, but for now, squawk 2745, and that is something that is in here. Later. No, okay, fine. Read it back so they know that you
Cessna
understood.
Romeo Papa, 1 Charlie Lima cleared to Legazpi Airport as filed.
2745.
Climb and maintain
Turn that
7,000 feet. Departure is 127.5, squawk 2745. Clearance
Looking
void
good.
30 minutes from now. Cessna 1 Charlie Lima readback is correct.
Sounds good. Ideally, we should have turned on some lights before we started our engines, but that's fine. As long as you guys won't tell, I won't either. Right, so it looks like Tagbilaran doesn't have a towered airport. So it's like they call it a CTAF, I think. I'm not sure if it's just the same in the Philippines. Common tower something frequency, where you don't actually have a tower but you kind of communicate just so in case other people are here as well, so they know what you guys are doing. But it's not, no one is like regulating it. So let's go ahead and announce that we are taxiing.
Romeo Papa Victor Tango traffic Cessna Romeo Papa 1 Charlie Lima is taxiing to runway 35.
Let's go ahead and release the parking brake. Looks good. Hear those engines spool up. By the way, this one, the PFD, change our nav source to FMS. That's the magenta line that we should be following on this flight plan. Make sure to do that, otherwise your autopilot will not work properly, because it'll be looking for VORs which you haven't tuned yet. Right, let's go and slow down here, line ourselves up. Turn in here and we'll go ahead and announce. So what we'll be doing, this is runway 35. That means the heading is around 350 degrees. You can see our heading. We're facing basically north that way. So I'll depart straight out.
Romeo Papa Victor Tango traffic Cessna Romeo Papa 1 Charlie Lima taking off runway 35 straight out departure.
So we'll take off straight runway heading, and then we'll turn right to follow the magenta line. That's the high level plan. No promises on how close we can follow that, but at least we have a plan, right? Okay, there we go. Flaps are not yet for takeoff yet. Normally you would have entire checklist for this, but work in progress. Alright, speeds as well. 1 second. Speeds for rotation, for climb. Alright, engine stable, release the brakes. Wish me luck, guys. I should have prefaced everything. Not very familiar with this plane yet. I did say that you guys are going to be guinea pigs together with me, so hang tight. Going to be in for a ride. Oh, it's getting bumpy. Rotation speed is 120 knots. Let's give it some more space. There you go. Rotate. Oh, actually almost didn't want to go. My goodness, those trees are super high. Positive rate, gear up. Let's go ahead and put those flaps up as well. Yeah, I think this plane is it's beautiful, but I'm not sure if it's working the way it should be already. Now, it is a beast. Look at our speed here. Coming close to 250 knots. Normally, you would have a limitation. You have a speed limit of 250 knots below 10,000 feet. And normally, planes don't just reach that in a second. But it's a very different case here. Alright, let's go ahead and tune center, contact them so they know that we're
Center,
here.
Cessna Romeo Papa 1 Charlie Lima is at 2,000 feet, climbing 7,000 feet. Cessna Romeo Papa 1 Charlie Lima McTan Center, continue to Maven as planned. Altimeter 29.80.
Roger that. Normally we would need to read that back, but I think not everything is included in the flight plan. So yeah guys, as I mentioned, unfortunately not as sightseeing-ish. We can still see something out of Tagbilaran, but not much in there. What I can do to help is I can maybe enable nav mode here, enable the autopilot. There you go. That should take a bit of load away from me so we can focus a bit on the sightseeing aspect of it. Looks like a bit of turbulence there. Actually, I forgot to enable everything. My bad. Very bad. That's okay. Still here. We'll make up for it later. Looking good. Let's go and look outside for a bit while we're climbing. Oh, doesn't that look great? My goodness. Yeah. That's as cool as you can get it. Let's take a screenshot there. Did that work? Maybe not. There you go. It does work somehow. Okay. That's how I take screenshots in the Microsoft Store. If you guys have any better way for me, let me know, okay? Alright, still climbing. Reaching 7,000 feet soon. We have to go vertical speed here, and yeah, I found that currently this plane does not really play well with the other autopilot modes. Flight level change, autothrottle, those are a bit finicky at the moment. Yeah, this plane does have autothrottle, but I kind of am a bit hesitant to use it because the last time I did, it just was going on berserk. We'll have to go almost close to flight idle here so we don't overspeed, but we can go vertical speed now.
1 Charlie Lima, acknowledge last transmission.
Yes, got that. Just wait for me a bit.
Climb and maintain 13,000 feet, Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
There we go. So yeah, this should be a pretty quick trip because this, as I mentioned, this jet is just a beast. Look at how beautiful that cockpit looks like. As high-tech as it can get, all the touchscreens you can have left, right, and center. Oh wow. So yeah, I'm not sure what kind of audience we have at the moment. You guys let me know in the comments if you are into flight simming, if you found this channel because of the sightseeing. Oh, we are actually losing speed here. That's a bit dangerous. Coming close to stall speeds. You can see the angle of attack there was going to the red line. That means you are pretty close to stalling. That's not a good thing. It's not something we want. There you go. You can keep that like so. I love how the engines really spool up as you work with the throttle. Get some lighting here, floodlights for better sights. Why not? There we go. You can zoom out here, although the default camera for this one is pretty zoomed in, and you're really seated like below, like when you're flying level, it's like the horizon is somewhere here in the middle and you can hardly see what's in front of you. You have to do that kind of camera spacebar for the view. It's a bit strange. And let's have a look outside. Oh yeah, not too shabby, eh? Yeah, this area doesn't seem very well done in terms of satellite imagery. It's very similar to what you would get if you like download ortho photos for the other sims. You can also see a bit of like clouds there at the bottom. Normally satellite images, they have clouds, right? Because it's, if the solid satellite is shot from above, then chances are there would be clouds when those shots were taken. And depending on the quality of the image, sometimes the clouds stay there. And I noticed that in the Philippines, many of the ortho photos have those clouds. So when you do that, DIY that kind of thing, you download the satellite images from Bing Maps manually for the other sims. It doesn't really... Oh, we're actually beyond 10,000 feet now. One sec. Go to standard altimeter, which does not work. So let's go back to 2992 on our own. I think the transition altitude for the Philippines, the entirety is 11,000. So that means when you go above 11,000 feet,
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima climb and maintain flight level 200.
you basically switch to that standard altimeter so that all of you are on the same pressure rule, so to speak, to put it in a basic sense. Okay, let's do that.
Climb
Let's go
and maintain
VS here
flight
again.
level 200 Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
I do like how detailed this default ATC can be. This comes out of the box, and yeah, we don't have many nice air traffic control systems in other sims. So the fact that it can actually guide us somewhere, give us these like step climb kind of altitudes, kind of nice, kind of refreshing. Like in X-Plane, I had to buy a separate third-party plugin, which costs like the entire simulator. Like X-Plane would be like $60 before in full price. That plugin, Pilot to ATC, is an offline ATC thing. It costs $60 as well. In this one, it comes with an ATC already. So yeah, very much worth your money in my point of view. We'll see. That depends on what your needs are. Let's see, logo lights. Oh, I think we're all okay there. And since we're beyond 10,000 feet, we don't need those landing lights anymore. Alright. Let's go and get a bit of external view here. Yeah, you can see those clouds are still there. Some satellite images, they're not very well done in this area, so you see a lot of clouds on the ground. It's not very clean. Some of them are they try to clean them out, like you can see those shades, but it's not very pretty, is it? Not the prettiest. Right, let's just keep climbing here and follow where this guy takes us. I would have wanted to do a time lapse for you guys, but it looks like the weather is super good. I do have a time lapse video. I might just share that. It's an unlisted video. I release it for my patrons. I release some raw footage for my patrons every now and then, just so they can peek behind the curtain a bit and get a bit of like behind the scenes of what I'm working on. So I shared a time-lapse video of how the clouds transition. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. If you remember from the previous episode, I was wondering how clouds were transitioning because they are beautiful, but it didn't seem like they're moving. And I was not sure if that was really happening. But yeah, with that video, I proved that it does work and it does transition like the real thing. Like, I made a time-lapse vid, accelerated it to like, how long was that? I think it was 40 times faster than the normal speed. There is Cebu, guys. For those who were requesting flying over Cebu. Yeah, unfortunately, we're very high up, so you might not be able to spot your house. But that's Mactan Airport. Right there. Yeah, and that's the bridge. I'm not very familiar with Cebu though, that's why I couldn't tour you guys. But yeah, the satellite images on the city itself, it's good. But the surroundings, like look at those mountains, right? Still, yeah, still lots of clouds. So I think it could have a bit more improvement there. My goodness, Cebu is also pretty dense, huh? Looks like Manila from up here. Cebu definitely is getting developed.
Charlie Lima climb and maintain flight level 280.
280. Roger that. Flight level 280.
Climb and
1 Charlie
maintain flight
Lima.
level 280 Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
Right, let's bring that up to 280. Actually not sure what our final cruising altitude is. We'll just follow ATC as we go. 28,000, flight level 280, vertical speed. Push that up. Maybe not too much though. I will see. Yeah, I was hoping to do a time lapse. But I'll probably do that when we have thicker clouds, and for now we focus on the flight itself. But yeah, this thing is a beast, and I'm looking forward to the updates on this plane. Once all the other stuff are properly modeled in, Autothrottle. And actually we can try it, but I'm a bit scared. Once you enable the Autothrottle, kind of takes care. See, it would go to like idle here even if you're climbing. Doesn't give you much confidence. Let's connect that. No. Let's keep it as is. Also, this plane seems to be a huge chugger for fuel. Not sure if the fuel consumption is realistic yet. But I did a test flight once, my first flight with this plane. I was like 5 miles away from the runway and I ran out of fuel. So I kind of landed, I guess if you can classify that, but kind of plopped down so much that I actually, the black screen came out. That means you crashed. So not the best. Anyway, let's have a look at this beautiful cockpit here. Show you guys how cool that is, right? My goodness, that looks so pro. And by the way, how much frames am I getting? Let's see. Frame rate wise, I'm getting 41. It's actually a bit better because I started tweaking my settings now. Maybe that's something you guys can find helpful a bit. Let me pause it here. Bit of intermission. So if you go to graphics settings, I started off in high end. But now I think I went on high end, but I started making all these medium. One thing that I found that really has a huge effect on frame rate for the GPU, if you're GPU bound, is ambient occlusion. If you tone that down, you'll get like around up to 5 FPS boost. The others are not that significant depending on your settings, but that's the one I would recommend turning down immediately. Even in other games, that's pretty much one of the heavy hitters to frame rates. And for me, it's good to have if your system can handle it, but it's something that you add on at the very last end when you are done, when you are ready, when you have maxed out everything else. Okay, looks like we are starting to do stuff here. I think I'm climbing too sharply. That's the problem with vertical speed, it's very manual. There we go. Normally, when you're climbing like this, you would either use VNav, so the computer has a flight plan for you. Like if you go through here and go to flight plan, initially you wouldn't see anything, but don't get scared immediately. Just wait for it. There we go. 360. 1 Charlie Lima. One sec, guys. Let me just plug this in. Let's go and reply to the guy.
Climb and maintain flight level 360 Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
It's too sharp. Maybe 1,500 feet per minute. And let's see from there how we progress. There you go. What's our ground speed now? 372 knots. And climbing. We're still climbing, and that's we're already traveling at 378 knots. Roughly, I don't know, that probably translates to like 400 miles per hour, our speed. But yeah, this is a jet through and through. Anyway, going back here, so you can see the flight plan. It does have these vertical this altitude, so it does have an idea of where you should be on that specific waypoint. Should be 42,000 here, so ideally you would think it would be able to guide you using VNav like this one. But that doesn't really do anything, unless I'm just not familiar how to use that. But it doesn't seem like it's working yet. We've seen flight level change was not very much a thing yet, so yeah, I think it's mostly still vertical speed. I think we can climb sharper here. 2,000 feet, because I am getting close to the ribbon there. The, what do you call it, barber colors. Overspeed, basically. So let's go sharper here. And have a look outside. Not the most scenic weather. Actually, I'm not even sure if it's working. I did say live weather. Maybe we could add something for flare. What do you guys think? Because if you look at weather here, it does say live, but we could always add like, I don't know, high level clouds maybe? Maybe that's the one that classifies as cirrus. Would you classify that as cirrus, guys? Let's go and change that to maybe scattered. Oh, that looks so good. Okay, let's fly with that, because that looks so much better. Yeah, I think I can get behind that. And yeah, frame rate is not bad. Overspeeding. Almost, so let's slow down here. Let's actually increase that rate of climb. Let's not destroy our plane halfway through the trip. It's not looking bad at all, huh? Air traffic control wise, we don't really have anything. So it also doesn't have top of descent. So normally you climb, right? You climb to your cruising altitude, like let's say 40,000 feet above. But at some point, you would have to know when you should start descending. Otherwise, you'd miss your airport, your destination. So it has to be included in the flight plan somehow. But it doesn't really work yet. So our main dependence is with air traffic control. They will actually tell us when we need to descend. But in addition to that, I think we can do some computations of our own. So we'll see. I'm just trying to level out here, and I'm going to watch out for overspeed. I might have to tone down again here. Okay, let's see. Let's zoom out. Maspa. Yeah, let's keep it that way.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima climb and maintain flight level 440.
Still climbing up to 440, guys. Still going strong. 440. Right, V speed and go. Let's go ahead and acknowledge that before he gets mad.
Climb and maintain flight level 440 Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
That's looking pretty good. Speeds are going out.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima descend and maintain flight level 360.
Oh my goodness. Did you guys hear that? We actually reached our top of descent already, apparently. So we should start descending now. What we can do is go at around maybe 1,500, 2,000 feet per
Cessna 1
minute.
Charlie Lima, did you hear my last transmission?
Yes, I did, but you gave me conflicting messages. So let's go to flight idle here. Otherwise, we risk overspeeding.
Descend and maintain flight level 360 Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
There you go. Yeah, the throttle is almost at idle there. That's how fast this plane is. Just like even faster than an airliner, actually, I think. We're actually now at 460 knots ground speed. In terms of wind, we should be able to do that here.
Descend and maintain flight level 280.
Yeah, barely any wind here. Say again?
McTan Center, Cessna 1 Charlie Lima. I didn't copy that. Say again, please. Cessna 1 Charlie Lima descend and maintain flight level 280.
280, okay.
descend and maintain flight level 280 Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
So normally you can have like a rough computation of when you should start your descent depending on how far away you are from how high you are and how low you need to be. Like you subtract that. So for example, we're at 35,000 feet and we have to descend all the way to 0. So that's 35,000. So cut the 0. So 35 times 3 is what? 105. So rough estimate is when you're 105 miles away from your destination. Now we're at 94 here. You should start descending. Descent at like a 3-degree slope. That's like very rough estimate, but should get you in the ballpark of where you need to be. And like I think that's being used as a guide as well by some of the 737 pilots. I think I've seen that from Flight Tech to Sim. He's a YouTuber and also a real 737 captain. I love watching him because he uses like the proper procedures and everything, and I learned so much from him. But it's so cool. So yeah, that's one of his tricks. They subtract the altitude from to 2 and then multiply by 3. That's the distance you need to be at before you need to start your descent. And normally when you calculate that and plug that against what the FMS, what the flight computer will give you. Oh, I'm lagging bad here. Lagging really bad. Guys seeing this? I hope that's temporary. Maybe things are getting loaded in. It is my first time passing through here. Ooh. Thankfully that's out. Yeah, it did seem like things were getting downloaded. It's done quickly, but still quite scary, huh? Right, here we are. So Masba, and then I think, let me have a look here. Let's review. So arrival will be joining the Masba to Echo arrival. So we have some waypoints to follow here, but we don't have an approach yet. I think that one our air traffic control will give us. So we can give a procedure here. So arrival is set, but approach is not yet. So depending on what they give us, for example, RNAV to runway 6 or RNAV to runway 24, we plug that in, we activate it, and ideally the plane will follow that. If that really gets followed here, we will see. But yeah, so these procedures, I can work with this a bit manually, computation and stuff, and plugging things in and knowing what to do. That one I'm more familiar. What I have really trouble with is the actual flying. That's why I really love flying here, hand flying and everything, because it gives me a lot of practice. And that's why, if you've watched the previous videos, the landing has not been the best in all the videos. That's just one of my limitations. It's constantly, bit by bit, improving, but not quite there yet. Oh my goodness, these clouds though, huh? Yeah, this one is where I can do a time lapse actually. Let me try something. But it's going to be hard. Maybe when we get our descent again, let me try something. Okay, because even though this is not live weather, we do have proper clouds here, and even though you don't see them moving, because they really move very slow. And I like what I heard in one of the videos I watch. I watch a couple of like real life pilots, YouTubers, and they say like working with weather is like playing a game of chess, that you have to stay in front of the plane and make sure that you're not like driving into weather, flying into weather and stuff like that. Speaking of flying into weather, I am a bit scared with that. Let's go ahead and look at weather here. Cells galore. We did choose scattered, but I was not expecting it to be that bad. Should we punch through that, guys? Or we might.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima descend and maintain flight level 180.
180. We're sure we want to do this, guys. Right, VS there. Continue that. Let's go 1,500 feet per minute. Should be okay.
descend and maintain flight level 180 Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
So I'm not sure I want to punch through this. But maybe just for science, I don't know. Maybe I found that these cells are a bit exaggerated in that point of view, but if you look at the weather radar, does this thing really have a weather radar? Like the TBM? I don't know. That looks cool though. There's like a vertical and horizontal weather radar. So there's the scale here. If it's black, it's good. Green, still okay-ish. Yellow, beware, and red, avoid at all costs. So I'm not sure what orange means, but I do see some red stuff there. And yeah, that doesn't look healthy at all. But if we just turn that off, it looks very good now. So maybe that works. I think we can speed up a little here. So yes, let me know guys if you are into these kinds of videos. I know, very different. Some of the more enthusiasts for flying might be more into this, but let me know in the comments and we can adjust as necessary. It's all a very new world for me. Haven't been doing flight sims a lot. I only started last year, and of course this sim is brand new, so quite a bit of learning to do. But yeah, as I was saying a while ago, these clouds don't seem like they're moving because they move very slow. But with that time-lapse video I made, I'm going to, I decided I'm going to put a link somewhere, or maybe I'll just release it just for reference and link it in the video description. They do move, and they do move at a very natural pace. Accelerating that pace to 40 times, so I just left it in the airport. I left it running and recording, and then I put it in an editor, accelerated the time 40 times, and it's beautiful. It's a work of art. You might have seen a couple of videos of that already, but yes, definitely. How about this one? If I get track IR off and maybe push myself through here, we'll see if that view, if I can do a little bit of time lapse there. I'll try to hold it as much as I can, but yeah, I'll stay quiet here and then we'll time lapse it and we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'm not sure if that was enough for time-lapse material, but this is looking pretty scary. So I think we have to be a bit more hands-on here. Let's turn on the weather again, just a bit. Don't look. Yeah, there are clouds everywhere. Might actually go into icing here. Oh my goodness. What do I do when we go into icing conditions? We should have some anti-ice mechanisms in here. Why don't we have the pitot heat things on? Yeah, we'll turn these on as we go. That should have been on the entire time. Thankfully, we didn't lose indication for airspeed and stuff. Right, here we are. Oh, look at that, we actually lost. When I turned on the heater, oh there we go. Now it's back, good. It got a bit confused when I turned on the heater. Or was that because I punched through the clouds? No, maybe I think it's good. So yeah, I'm not sure if that's enough of a time lapse to give you a glimpse of how the weather changes, but this is a bit different because we we are flying, so we are moving at a steady pace forward, and at the same time the clouds are moving on their own. So I'm not sure if it's that obvious, but if it's not, then I'll share the video just so you see how it looks from an airport point of view. My goodness, those clouds look beautiful. No more flickering. They look very dangerous though. Come on. Are we going to make it? 180 here. Might have to turn sharper. Let's have a quick computation. So we are at 18,000 feet. Let's say we have to descend 18,000. Okay. One sec, guys. Let me just focus a bit. 10,000. VS it down. Let's go fast here. 3,000 feet per minute because I think we're a bit late.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima, did you copy?
Yes, yes.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
Go to idle. So we are really going to push it. If needed, we do have speed brakes here. But I hope I won't need it. Oh my goodness, there's icing. There is icing, guys. Yeah, it's a thing. Okay, let's have a look. Where are you? Wings, maybe? Do we have windshield? Turn on all the anti-ice there, just to be on the safe side. It did seem to dissipate, so that's good. Alright. How does it look from outside? Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Love that. Okay. Focus. How are we doing on speed? A bit fast. I think we could slow down our descent for a bit. So let's do our computation here. If we're at 14,000 feet times 3, that's 28. Oh my goodness, counting with Clumsy. 28 plus 14. 42. So we should be at 42. And we are now only 36 miles away. So yeah, I think we have to catch up a little. We'll see. If needed, we can always turn around. We can always go around, but ideally we get this in one shot. If you guys have an easier way for me to calculate that, if we are on vertical profile without the VNAV working quite yet, let me know in the comments, okay? It would be super helpful. Slow down more here.
Landing gear.
Doesn't want to be full idle, otherwise it asks for landing gear. My goodness, that looks so good. I could just stare at this all day, guys. Yeah, I might just like do a long flight with a long cruise and just stare at the clouds and time-lapse that. We'll see how it works moving forward. Okay, we should have switched already to local altimeter. They have not asked us to transition though. Oh, they did say 10,000 feet, but they didn't give us... no, they didn't give us any
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima descend and maintain
indicator.
3,000 feet.
Did it say 3,000? Oh my goodness, okay.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
Let's do that. Yeah, the altitude knob is also a bit weird. I think some content creators have already commented on that as well. Like it's weird. Like it scales. The more you use the knob, it kind of scales up, like 100 feet per turn of the knob, and suddenly going 200 and then 1,000. But I think the purpose is it should be intuitive, but the end result is it's not. So I think I would have preferred just sticking to like 100 the entire time. That would have been made it much easier for me. Right, they still have not given us anything. We are only 13 miles away, so actually, you know what? I'd rather we are that we reach our approach
Cessna 1
altitude.
Charlie Lima, you are 25 miles south. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect RNAV runway 6 approach by
There we
Sealy
go.
transition. Clear to
RNAV
Sealy.
6 Sealy. Good. Let's go ahead and acknowledge that. And that's
Maintain
one
present
is
heading
here.
and altitude. Expect RNAV runway 6 approach via
So
Sealy
procedure
transition.
approach
Clear to Sealy
RNAV
Cessna
6.
1 Charlie Lima.
But the transition should be Sealy. Load and activate that.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima contact Legazpi approach on 120.2.
So that would mean we should be heading towards Sealy now. I hope that works. It does seem like it's working. We are headed straight to Sealy. So let's go and
Going to
join
120.2
approach.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
There's also a glide path in here which looks pretty promising actually. We are overspeeding. We need the speed brakes a bit. So we don't go beyond 250 knots. Let's go in tune to Legazpi approach. And report in.
Legazpi approach Cessna Romeo Papa. 1 Charlie Lima is at 5,900 feet, descending 3,000 feet.
So 3,000 feet
Cessna
is our
Romeo
target.
Papa. 1 Charlie Lima Legazpi approach. Continue to Sealy as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
Okay, 2992. Good. Do we need to read that back? No, I think it's good. Request IFR clearance for instrument flight plan. Don't need that. We already have that. Okay, good. I think we can stow the speed brakes. Some clouds here again. Below 10,000 feet, we should have our landing lights on. We still have our heaters. I think we don't need those anymore. At least not the engine, anti-ice for the engine. Temperature now is 7 degrees outside, so should be okay here. Right, cutting close to 3,000 feet. Expect a bit of a bumpy ride as we punch through these clouds. I'm loving this. This is what I really enjoy. The flying mechanics of it. Alright, that's looking
Cessna
good.
1 Charlie Lima keep speed below 230 knots.
Yes, will do. I'm actually impressed.
Keep
They
speed
have
below
speed
230
restrictions as
knots,
well.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
Nice. That looks a bit strange though. 06 Alpha Bravo. Well, maybe not too bad. Okay, let's have a look at the flight plan here. Clouds are pretty thick in this regard. Let's see. Should be 2,700 feet at the next two waypoints. Can we VNAV? Will it work? No, we do have a glide path there. Oh, my bad. Almost didn't recognize that. So let's go in VSR way very slowly. There you go.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima, you are 13 miles southwest of Legazpi. Contact Legazpi Tower on 118.1 when inbound.
Will do.
Tower on 118.1 Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
Okay, let's go. Switch to tower here. Inbound RNAV 6.
Legazpi Tower Cessna Romeo Papa. 1 Charlie Lima 13 miles southwest inbound RNAV runway 6 approach. Cessna Romeo Papa. 1 Charlie Lima Legazpi Tower. Cleared RNAV runway 6 approach. Altimeter
Nice.
29.9 to wind 271 at 8. Cleared RNAV runway 6 approach Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
Should have the runway in sight soon. Once we cross this one, this should be like our final approach. The runway should be straight ahead there. All things considered. Can we arm the approach here? That should work, I think. Because we do have the glide path there. We'll see if that works. That is armed. We'll see if that kind of automation is built in. And we are below 230 knots. I think I can go with 1 notch of flaps here. Start slowing us down. And actually start deploying our landing gear. There's the glide path starting to come down. Looking good. I don't even know how much flaps you need to put in for landing, but I'm assuming it's the full thing. Let's go ahead for speed references. Our approach speed is what I need to know. It's 149. It says glide path is captured. Wow, nice. It is working. So there is that level of automation at least. That's good.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima cleared to land runway 6.
There we go.
271 at 8.
271 at 8. That's actually not very
Cleared
good
to land
for
runway
us.
6 Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
That's actually pretty strong tailwinds. Do we see the runway? There it is, yes. Okay. Flaps, 1 more notch. Slow it down more. Do see the runway. Pretty soon I'll have to disable autopilot. And full landing flaps. And the target is to be staying around 150 knots over here for the approach. It does seem like we're a bit too low. Yeah, we are. I think I'll take over from here. Not that I can do much better job, but I'll feel much more confident that way at least. Let's go and climb up a bit, get some altitude in. Too white, too red it seems like. Over there, now I'm a bit too high, but that's okay because there are some buildings right after the runway, which I'm not sure is very realistic. Okay, gear is down, flaps are fully down. We do have some strong tailwind here. 500. Love that guy. His amazing voice. Now with this plane, I think ideally should be... Oh, 1 second, I'm just going to focus. I think the flare is going to be minimal. Okay, there we are. Let's bleed it off. Flare a little. Idle. Yeah, see? Floats like crazy. And we almost ran off the runway here. So not the best, but you've been warned. Reversers. And to our left should be the beautiful Mount Mayon. Amazing. Sorry guys for the landing. I would have hoped to have
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima exit runway when able.
done better, but bit limited. That looks so good though, doesn't it? Actually, the time lapse I did is here, right here in Legazpi.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima contact ground on 118.1.
118.1. Well, we did
Going
land.
to 118.1 Cessna 1 Charlie
Nothing
Lima.
beautiful, but I'll take it. It seems like it doesn't want to move anymore as well. 1 sec, huh?
Legazpi ground, Cessna Romeo Papa. 1 Charlie
Come on.
Lima request taxi to parking.
Move it. There you go.
Cessna Romeo Papa. 1 Charlie Lima taxi to general aviation parking by taxiway cross
Oh
runway
my goodness.
24.
Now we're really making a fool out of ourselves here. Alright, there we are. But I'm happy that we actually at least had a glide path captured. So for our nav approaches, it seems to be working.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima acknowledge last transmission.
Yes.
Taxiing to general aviation parking using taxiway cross runway 24 Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
view looks majestic, doesn't it? Let's get a nice view there. Can I do this even while taxiing? There it is. Yes. Beautiful. Where do we turn though? All these houses on the side. I'm not sure if this is really how the airport looks like. But yeah, I really have to practice my landings here. Very different. It's like it's not even, I'm not even sure you can classify this as GA anymore. Can you? Would work more as an airliner from how it behaves. Even that flare at the end shouldn't have nosed up at all. But at least we didn't go off the runway. So I'll take it. Work in progress, guys. Work in progress. Now the parking for GA should be right there on the right. If I remember correctly, I do see some planes there. I think that's a Diamond DA or something. Something along those lines. Let's go and find where the guys are. If we cannot find it, we'll just stay there somewhere. Well, actually, I think that's us. Okay, let's go there. Landing lights can go off. Flaps up. Heat can go off. And everything else should be okay. So if you are in the mood for a cool jet, this is one of the picks that you can have, but just be warned. Be warned. It is a beast in all aspects. That looks like where we're headed. It's giving us a sign there. If that's for us at least. Yeah. Come on, move it. Sticky throttle. Oh, there we go. All right. Parking brake is on. Now how do you even turn off this plane? I have no idea. Let's just try something. Turn off the engine like so and like so. There you go. Oh, that was quick. Well, that counts as a landing, I think. So I'll take it. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Let's go ahead and take a nice view of this. Oh, that is beautiful. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that trip. Went a bit long, but let me know what you think and we'll adjust as necessary. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Maybe adjust the landing, huh? Clumsy flying. Truer words have never been spoken. Thanks and bye-bye. Have a good one.